Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I wasn't planning on filming anything today, but this is the second time I deal with this issue on my 2006 Subaru WRX, and I haven't seen too much information about this on the forums or on YouTube, so I figured I'd film something quickly just in case it can help anyone else. So I've been dealing with some low fuel pressure issues. I should have filmed my fuel pressure gauge, but basically I was around 10 psi when I started the car, and then it would drop down to about 5 psi, which is way lower than where it should be. It should be at least in the 40 psi range. So what I've done is I've taken out the fuel pump from the back seat. It's pretty easy to do. There's a lot of videos show you how to do that. One thing you're going to need is this little kit to pop off the fuel lines. Two of them need those little plastic inserts, and then you just pop off the line. And then this whole assembly comes out, which has your fuel pump and your fuel filter. So let's just bring this to the workbench and I'll show you what's happening. So this is our fuel pump assembly. So this is the actual motor here that pushes the fuel. And then up here, this piece kind of twists onto this plastic piece and locks in place. So you can kind of see here where it locks over this little plastic piece. But if I turn it to the other side, see how it kind of twisted and popped off of its groove? It's not actually where it's supposed to be, which means there's not a good sealing area. You can even see a little piece of the gasket in there, and you can tell that we're not getting a good seal. So the fuel that's being pumped by the fuel pump and going through this little filter is actually escaping from here and not making its way completely into the gas lines. And that's why I was only getting about 10 psi. So let me take this off and show you what it looks inside, and then I'll show you what it's supposed to look like when it pops back together. All right, I took the filter off just so you can really see what I'm talking about. So right here, this little gold piece is supposed to be directly on top of this white piece, but it has somehow twisted and popped off of where it's supposed to be. So what I'll do now is pop the cap off completely. I'm just going to twist this like that. Might be a little fuel coming out here, not a big deal. So this is your fuel filter, and then this is the O-ring. And this O-ring is the one that it almost seems like it expanded. It's not even the right size anymore, and that's why it wasn't sealing properly. So I'll probably go ahead, replace this O-ring, put it all back together, and we should be good to go. So I have a new O-ring in here now, so I'll just pop this back together. Like that. And then just twist it into place. There we go. And that's what it's supposed to look like, where the plastic tabs are underneath those little brass hooks. Just like that. And you can see that the O-ring is all seated properly in there, so there'll be a good seal, and all the fuel pressure coming from the pump will go into the lines now. So let's put it all back together and test our fuel pressure. So before I put this back in, I just want to show you what I did to prevent this from happening again, because this is the second time it happens and I'm sick of pulling apart my back seat and taking this out of the fuel pump. So I added this clip here that wraps around to prevent the white cap from twisting, because that's what keeps happening, is this cap somehow rotates about 90 degrees, and that's what makes it pop off of where it's supposed to be. So by adding this clip, it secures it in place and prevents it from twisting. So I shouldn't have to deal with this again. Fingers crossed. All right, the moment of truth. Everything's put back together. We'll keep an eye on our fuel pressure gauge. which is this one here. We want to be in the 40 psi range. Hey, there we go. Awesome. So last time I started it, I was about 10 psi. So now we're up near 40. We'll let it warm up a bit, and when I give it gas, it should go up a little higher than 40. Okay, car's warmed up now. We'll give it a bit of gas. There we go. That's what we want to see. Awesome.
Great success.